ranking member on Parliament's Energy Committee, John Jinapo, is accusing government of causing financial loss to the state in the Ghana Power Generation Company judgment debt saga. He says the company, which was awarded a $170 million judgment debt in a London court, initially agreed to take $20 million, but government refused to take it. He questions why government allowed the amount to balloon to $170 million in 2018, cancelled a 4-year contract with a company which was signed by the NDC government. The NPP administration claims there was excess energy capacity in the country, resulting in several contracts signed by the NDC government. Mr. Jinapo says the contract should never have been cancelled in the first place because there is no excess capacity. Now, government missed deadlines to challenge the award, and the court rejected its latest plea to extend the deadline. Mr. Jinapo says government mismanaged the dispute.
With PRC, and I can state on authority that those figures the ministry is throwing around is nothing but a fallacy. And if you want, we can give you evidence, we can show you from ECG itself. When you discount our dependable capacity and you look at the reserve margin, this so-called excess capacity is nothing but a hoax. It's not true. You can't just discount your capacity in terms of the allowable capacity that you require, which is about 20%. What this government does is that they deliberately discount the 20% and just say that we consumed X amount. That's not what is done in energy economics. It's only people who don't understand that sector who go about it the way they are going about it. You certainly need some reserve. And I'm saying that when you account for that reserve, this so-called excess capacity is nothing but a hoax. We have the opportunity to export power. Government should export that power. Ghana's energy is not the most expensive. It is not true. We are about the 4th cheapest source of energy in the sub-region. And there's documentary evidence that I can adduce to that. And there's demand for capacity in Burkina, there's demand for capacity in Benin, there's demand for capacity in Togo. Let us do what is right by investing in our transmission lines so that we can export power. It's as simple as that.
The finance minister told Parliament just last week that they'd spend more than $927 million paying for excess capacity over the last 4 years, between 2017 and 2020, which some in the energy sector have said that then this probably is not worth it. If for example, we had kept this extra contract running, just maybe...
So we are no more paying $1 billion per annum as they stated. That was what they stated, that they pay $1 billion per annum.
$927 million over a 4-year period is still a substantial sum.
Let them give us the details. I've requested for the details. And if we look at the details, I can tell you that a chunk of that amount is for reserve margins and not excess capacity that they choose to call. I think that the finance minister should learn some of these basic issues.
Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is disputing claims by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta that the NPP government had paid $937 million to independent power producers over the last 4 years as excess capacity energy charges. The NPP government has accused the previous administration of signing too many energy contracts, leading to the excess energy. But Ms. Ofori-Atta told legislators on Thursday that between 2017 and 2020, these $347.2 million were paid to AXA Energy. Car Power Ship was paid $359 million and Sen Power was paid $231.3 million. But minority MP Alhassan Soyini, who filed the question, says the figure can't be accurate. He has today filed an urgent question summoning the Energy Minister over the issue. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is joining me live right now. Hello, Joseph. Joseph, help us understand this question that has been filed by a Member of Parliament, Alhassan Soyini, and what steps will follow.
Essentially, he is disputing the claims that were put out by the finance minister last week, that up to $937 million had actually been paid to these power companies in excess energy that the country is not using. And he actually asked that follow-up question when the finance minister appeared before Parliament on Thursday, that if you say you've paid $927 million, $937 million, I should say, how much energy is actually amounting to that in terms of the excess capacity energy. And the finance minister said he can either return to the House with those details, or the question should actually be directed to the Minister of Energy to come respond to. And he's unhappy with that because he says if the finance minister is actually paying for the energy, he should know how much energy he's paying for. But if he says it's the energy minister who has those details, Mr. Suhuyini is trying to get the energy minister to then come give those specific details on the floor of the House. And we're waiting for the speaker to admit the question and subsequently for the energy minister to appear on the floor.
Joseph, wrap up with what else has been happening in Parliament. It's been a full day, hasn't it?
Currently, the government statistician is before MPs explaining the processes that are unfolding when it comes to the plans for the census. He's been expressing concern about the security situation in some of the areas, which is making it difficult for his people to even go ahead with the numbering of the houses and then roll out some of the activities subsequently with regards to the counting of people. And so MPs are receiving that briefing. Earlier in the day, the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Samuel Abu-Jinapor, was in Parliament. He expressed appreciation to Ghanaians for the support during the planting of trees for the Green Ghana project and demanded that efforts be made to ensure that these trees are actually nurtured for them to grow adequately. He's also been responding to questions having to do with the dispute between the Ghana Armed Forces and the La Traditional Council over some lands in that enclave that have been in dispute for a while now. And he says he set up a committee chaired by Benito Usubio, who is the Deputy Minister for Lands Designate, to resolve the issues. That committee is done with its work and he will soon receive the report and go ahead and implement the recommendations. As well, the Minister for Health, Kwekwajiman Menu, has been in Parliament responding to questions on what is being done to ensure that ambulances are used and operationalized in the most effective manner. And he's been disclosing that the recent issue with regards to an ambulance being used to convey cement, he's commissioned a special investigation into that, and he's expecting the report on that so that then he rolls out the necessary measures to ensure that the ambulances are used adequately.
Well, Joseph, I suppose that the health minister didn't talk about the variant or the new variant of COVID-19 that has been recorded in Ghana?
No, the specific issue that he focused on was the ambulance situation and what is being done to keep them safe. Well, some minority MPs have been expressing concern about that new variant that you just mentioned, the Delta variant, and asking that government reignite its efforts when it comes to the various COVID-19 protocols in order to keep Ghanaians safe.
Joseph, thank you very much. That looks like a lot of information to process and report on. Thank you for the comprehensive report once again. Joseph Opoku Gakpo there joining us from Parliament. He's a parliamentary correspondent. You're still watching The Pulse with me, Gift Ndopia. We're about to take a very quick break so we can do sports. But if Mr. Rawlings were to be alive, I would have been gearing to celebrate his birthday today.